Welcome to Chapter 3, Traps in the Open Games. When both king's pawns step forward, more famous traps live here than in every other opening combined. 15 lessons, the bait, the punishment, and the honest fine print. Learn them in both directions, to set them and to never fall for them again. Let's go. Lesson 1. The square everything in this chapter revolves around. The pawn beside each king is guarded by the king alone, and nearly every trap in the open games begins by attacking it. Both bishops come out to their favorite attacking squares. White strikes in the center, and black grabs the pawn, completely natural, and it walks straight into the oldest trick in chess. Bishop takes the pawn beside the king, and the king must capture. Now the queen checks on the light squares, the king shuffles away, and the queen scoops the loose bishop right back up with another check. Count the material, dead even. Now compare the kings. Blacks can never castle, stranded in the open, and every white piece will arrive with a threat. Now a trap you can set as black. Develop normally. Then hop the knight to the middle of the board. It looks like a beginner's blunder. It abandons the king's pawn completely. That pawn is bait, and it is poisoned. White takes the free pawn, and the door swings open. The black queen slides out, attacking the greedy knight and eyeing the undefended pawn beside white's rook. 2 threats, 1 move. The knight forks queen and rook. Ignore it. The queen takes the pawn by the rook steps aside, and the queen grabs the center pawn with check. The bishop blocks, and 1 quiet knight hop delivers checkmate. This mate has ended so many quick games, it was named after the shilling bets it used to collect. The everyday Italian, both sides developing sensibly. Now watch black's next idea, because it frees your game in 1 stroke whenever white's bishop comes out early and the center pawn stands unguarded. Knight takes the center pawn, a fake sacrifice. The knight recaptures, and the pawn fork hits bishop and knight at once. The bishop sidesteps, the pawn takes the knight, the bishop takes back. And the smoke clears on a level game where black got everything, a free hand in the center and easy development. The fork trick. Equality on demand. The same pattern with a sharper payoff, because this time the bishop came out 1 move too early. The instant that bishop and the center pawn stand unguarded together, the knight strikes. The knight recaptures, the pawn forks, and when the bishop tries to save itself by grabbing the pawn, the queen simply takes the bishop. Black regains the whole piece, plants the queen in the center, and white's opening is already a ruin. Same trick, extra tempo. That's what punishing an early bishop looks like. The old Philidor setup, modest, solid-looking, and 1 careless move, order away from disaster. Watch how black's own knight blocks the escape routes, while the weak square beside the king quietly runs out of defenders. Trade in the center first. Then the queen leaps to the middle of the board, hitting the weak square and threatening mate. The knight scrambles across to defend, the dark bishop calmly removes it, the pawn recaptures, and the queen lands. Checkmate before move 10, straight out of a quiet opening. Black offers a wing pawn, then pushes the center pawn forward, and white's knight gets sent all the way back home. A true gambit, a pawn down, a mountain of time up. Out comes the white queen, checking, grabbing, feeling unstoppable. Stay calm. Every single black move develops a piece and attacks her at the same time. The little pawn pokes her. The knight jumps toward her. Square by square, she is running out of light. And now the 2 silent moves. The bishop steps quietly up behind the pawns, then slides back 1 more square. No check, no capture. And the queen has no escape square on the entire board, surrounded mid-board by moves that never once threatened her. Until it was too late. The same gambit from black's side, wing pawn offered, center pawn pushed, ready to chase the knight home again. But strong opponents know a trickier try. The white queen pins your advanced pawn before you can push it further. Don't panic and don't push harder, mirror her. Your queen steps up, defends the pawn and asks, now what? The knight retreats anyway, your pieces flow out, and the gambit rolls on with the center in your hands. Against a clever defense, The calm move keeps everything. A two-move ambush for the white players. Bishop's opening. Your bishop is out, and black, very reasonably, develops the knight to attack your center pawn instead of defending their own. Push the queen's pawn anyway. If black grabs it, your knight comes out with a threat, your pieces flood the board, and that extra black pawn just sits there doing nothing. One pawn for 3 moves of development, below master level, that trade wins games all day. If you only take one weapon from this chapter, take this one, the most practical attacking recipe for players under 1500. Knights out, then strike the center, offer the pawn and point the bishop straight at the weak square. From here, black needs several precise moves just to stay level. Grab and hold the pawn. They walk into every trap you're about to know by heart. Decline it? You get a monster center for free. Simple plans for you, endless problems for them. The maddest gambit in chess. White offers the flank pawn. Black takes it and throws the kingside pawns forward, hunting the knight down. It looks like white's opening has simply failed. And white castles, a whole knight left to die. The pawn takes it, the queen recaptures, and now look at the open file, aimed straight at the weakest square on black's board. A full piece for a firestorm. You don't have to play this for a living, but every attacking idea you'll ever need lives inside this position. King's Gambit, main line. Black takes the pawn, then lunges forward on the flank to keep it. Most improvers freeze here and let the pawn chain stand. There's a crowbar. Hit the chain at its base immediately. If black props it up with the rook's pawn, the natural club player reaction, watch, the file rips open from top to bottom and the rook in the corner is simply lost. One pawn lever, one open file, one whole rook. Remember the pattern, it wins the same way every time. A cautionary tale about greed. Same King's Gambit territory. The pawns fly, the knight leaps to the center, and black's queen comes out swinging with check. So far, so sharp. White blocks, and the queens come off. But black's little pawn keeps marching, takes the rook in the corner, and promotes to a brand new queen. On paper, black is up a whole rook. Look closer. That new queen is sealed in the corner, buried alive in a tomb of her own making, while white's pieces, with the whole board to play on, begin the attack. Material you can't use isn't material. It's a headstone. The Spanish, the most respected opening in chess and home to its most famous trap. The white bishop probes, gets nudged by the pawns and retreats along its diagonal. Remember that diagonal. It's about to become a prison. Trade everything in the center and let the white queen take the bait pawn. Now the pawn wave rolls, and every step gains time. The queen gets kicked from square to square while the wave advances, and the final pawn push closes the last window. The bishop is walled in behind 3 pawns, an entire piece swallowed by the arc. A myth to retire, that the Spanish wins the king's pawn by force from move 3. White trades off the knight and grabs the center pawn. It really does look free. But the black queen centralizes with a double attack. The greedy knight and the pawn beside white's king. The knight runs home and the queen takes back with check. Nothing was ever free. Material level, and black keeps the pair of bishops as interest on the loan. Last lesson of the chapter. The place where traps go to die. The Berlin defense. Knights first, castle fast, contest the center, and by move 8 the queens leave the board entirely. No queens means no mating attacks, no tension means no traps. This is the wall a world champion used to drain the greatest attacking player alive, game after game. Honest advice, if you're here to improve, don't play it yet. Sharp games teach faster. But when it appears against you, you'll know exactly what it means. The trap chapter is over. Trade down and go win the endgame. That's chapter 3. 15 traps that have decided millions of games. Every one of them lives free at mated.gg, with boards you can step through at your own pace and every line ready to play against the coach. Chapter 4 raises the stakes, the Queen's Pawn Gambit Wars. See you there.